Hi, what's up? If you don't know me, I'm Kiki from Candykiki art, and this year I decided to make myself miserable and try to do this whole Inktober thing. So, the first week of the challenge is over. I hope you're still hanging in there, and if you're already running on fumes, like me, I'm here to help you and myself with a new video. Few technical things. This year I chose a Bristol paper pad in a smaller format, as well as fine liners and black water based ink. Additionally, I use gold paste from Kuretake, which works much better than gold ink from Whistler and Newton. For my sketches, I chose Prismacolor Cold Erase in color Tuscan Red and Violet, and of course my favorite grey kneaded eraser from Faber-Castell. Sketching is the most important stage. If you are in a hurry at the beginning of sketching and want to move on to liner, you can find yourself in a pickle. The more time I spent planning the drawing, the faster I was able to create clean lines, and the process itself was so much more enjoyable. The more excited you are about the sketch and the idea itself, the more motivation you will be able to generate. I sketch digitally because Wacom is my main work tool, and it allows me to streamline the entire process. Do not proceed to the line art stage if you are not satisfied with the sketch. It's so much easier to erase a pencil than a fine liner, and believe me, if you leave fingers in the sketch that look like deformed sausages, they won't suddenly become beautiful fingers in the line art. For each prompt, I brainstorm and look for matching reference photos, poses, clothes, everything that I associate with a given prompt. I usually spend about half an hour or so looking for this one fun concept. But I know that it will allow me to be more excited about a given drawing later and thus enjoy the whole challenge more. If you're working on important lines, don't get distracted by anything else. If working in silence isn't your thing, you can try playing classical music in the background. Due to the fact that I get distracted quite easily, while creating my Inktober work, I silence my phone and make sure that for the next hour or so, I can focus only on my lines. The less distractions I have, the faster I can finish the challenge and get back to my other projects. Don't forget about small rewards after completing the task. It could be a piece of your favorite chocolate, delicious tea with honey, or watching an episode of Friends for the 100th time, like in my case. Don't forget that you also need to sleep, eat, and go pee sometimes. If you think you can squeeze everything in 1 hour, you will end up with your breakfast looking like this. Don't be afraid to try again. If you started making your line art and after an hour you made a mistake with a fine liner, don't be afraid to apply white paint and paint over. On the second day, I wasn't happy with the cat's face. And yes, it wasn't great in the sketch either, and I should follow my first advice. But the second attempt saved the entire illustration and allowed me to save the previous hours of work. Traditional drawing has its own rules, but let's not be intimidated by the lack of ability to undo our mistakes. If you embrace the imperfections and lower your expectations, it will be easier to get through the challenge and just have fun. When I looked at my Inktober art from past years, they definitely lack the joy of creating. Now that I'm not stressed about creating a masterpiece every time, I allow myself to try new things. Sometimes I add additional elements after finishing the work, for example the white flowy lines made with gouache, which in my opinion enrich the composition, or the completely unexpected use of a stencil and white dry pastel, which gave an unusual effect of faded stars that look as if they were made digitally. Create a collection. Add finishing touches, maybe a black background or a simple frame. I had this impression that my pieces lacked a special feature that ties everything together. On the third day, I added a rectangular frame, thanks to which a cute Inktober artbook began to form. I know it's not exactly an art book, but looking through these drawings gives me such an incredible satisfaction and makes up for all the pain and sacrifice I have to make this month. Such a simple thing, but it makes me so happy. Okay, it's time to start getting ready for the next week, so I'm gonna leave you with the speed paints. Let me know if you like this kind of quick summary. Maybe you want less of my talking and more of the drawing process. I don't know. Write down below. I'm still looking for the most interesting form for you, but the pace of October doesn't really help me come up with the great ideas. I'm tired. I'm always tired, so yeah. Don't forget to tell me about your biggest struggles after the first week of Inktober. I hope that together we'll be able to kick this crazy challenge's butt. I knew it would be quite a challenge, but I didn't think it would drain all my energy so quickly. So please remember to take care of your body and your mind, and see you next week. Stay creative. Bye!